Guys, I was so in flow with that conversation, I didn't even notice that the timer went off. So my bad, guys. My bad. Just waiting for Anika to join us back again. Just waiting for her to connect.
Yo, we've been chatting for an hour.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, it's easily done. You think it's going to be an hour, and before you know it, it's an hour and a half. Yeah. So my bad, guys. Listen, I was so engrossed in that conversation, I didn't even clock the timer on the screen saying that they're going to run us. Yeah. So my bad, but I can see everybody's room's filling back up again.
Good. Come back.
So yeah, it's a madness. And you know, it's an ideal time for us to kind of look at how we have these conversations, and with the help of yourself and the tools that you produced and everything else, I think this is awesome time to seize the day and have these moments and have these conversations. Do you know? Now, kind of similar to like you can like I said, you can slip it in as part of home education. It's not
literally as part of the home education. If you want to structure it more that way, than making it a natural conversation that happens like continuously. If you want to structure it to say, this is when we're going to do it, this is the topics that we're going to cover, it can be done that way. If you feel more, just do whatever feel comfortable as you as a parent doing the discussions.
For real. So yeah, just checking up on a couple of other points. So again, in terms of, I asked this question to nearly everybody actually. All right then. So 11 years old seems to be the new rites of passage where our kids end up having a smartphone. Some of them end up having it before that, to be fair. In terms of you know, and they're gonna make contacts because what we, you know, from year 10, the kids from year 6, kids are setting up WhatsApp groups from their old primary school, and they're starting the networking, and it's lovely, and it's popping off their groups and everything else. Is there anything you can suggest in terms of what we can do to like safeguards? I know safeguarding your pash, and what can we do in terms of safeguarding our children around mobile phone usage and stuff?
Wow, personally, my nephew, because if I haven't mentioned, I'm a foster carer now, and I foster my nephew. So with his phone, he's got an Android phone, and I've got the Family Link app. So I've got the app that basically controls his phone. So it makes sure like I can turn it off at whatever night time. I can turn it on in the morning, and I can take certain apps off the phone. So he hasn't got Safari. I haven't trusted him with Google yet because that's a big world, internet. If you want to search and find something, come and ask me, or we'll search together on the iPad. But he hasn't got access to Safari yet. We'll build up towards getting those kind of stuff. And different apps as well. You can restrict different apps, and you can restrict the timing on it. So he has Instagram and TikTok. So I'll put a time in for those 2 apps. So he's not sitting there for 5 hours a day just listening to whatever kind of content he wants. It's got to be restricted. So he has to use that time wisely kind of thing. So that's something that you can do. So I do recommend if a child has a phone, try and do an Android, because I did try with an iPhone to try and see if there's anything that we can do to try and sync and try and track it. But it's not as efficient and good as an Android phone. So if you've got an Android, the Family Link app connects you both of your phones together, so you can control that. Obviously, your internet settings are with Virgin, so you're able to put the parental locks on there and make sure that you if certain websites. So I've banned YouTube in my house. So if you didn't know, YouTube actually is, you need to be 17 or older to have YouTube. They kind of actually say it actually has an age requirement, because the videos that you can actually seek on YouTube can go past the parental locks because you're already on the YouTube platform, so it goes past the locks kind of thing. So I've kind of banned YouTube. But he has YouTube Kids, and you're a kid, so you know you can't really complain about that. So if they're a child, they can have YouTube Kids, so you do compromise with them. What else can I say? For it's, again, you need to have the conversations. You need to know what they're looking at, have an interest in what they're doing in their phones. follow them. With my nephew's Instagram account, he has his age in his bio, so people will be thinking, yeah, let me try not be, nasty to this 13-year-old or try and abuse him. But even though people will see that as, yeah, 13, and I might jump in. So I have put on there, it's monitored, and I've kind of put my account on there, so his account is monitored by my account. So it's making sure it's a youth account. So if your child does have an account, try and put their age on it so they know it's a child's account. Make sure it's locked as well, so it's private and locked, and monitor that account. So go through their DMs, check their following lists, who's following them and stuff like that. Obviously try and stick to the age requirements on all the apps as well. So my nephew only just got Instagram when he turned 13 because he was begging me from it beforehand, but because it says you have to be 13, I kind of waited for that age. So yeah, follow the age requirements on the things as much as you can. And yeah, parental lock everything, and yeah, have those discussions with them. So that's kind of think how you can stick up on the safeguarding. And again, if there's any concerns, see up, and obviously the police as well.
No, I love that. I love that. I love the way that you've one, kind of stuck with the guidelines, and two, you've looked at creative ways to let this happen. Now, because it's a reality, when we look at building resilience with children, right? Resilience kind of requires a level of exposure to things. Yeah. So sometimes just locking them off from everything.
You can't. Like, they still have to have some kind of access. They still need to have something. So you just restrict it a little bit. You just bring it down. Still let them be exposed. He's still seeing, I know he's probably seeing Titi bouncing on Instagram and fights and stuff that I don't want him to see. But it's the restricting of the exposure, and it's going to back and looking over those and having discussions about these to know that that ain't positive things that you should be looking at and trying to steer away from it, because you can't, blind them forever. They're going to see these contents. So the better you can have an open dialogue and conversation about it, I believe the more safe they are in these environments.
And it's a difficult thing with achieving balance. I see somebody mention balance because a lot of parents are fearful. So in terms of introducing balance, it kind of needs to be done incrementally. So I really what you've done there. So for me, I think we can all probably think back, to our younger days when there was that person of around our age group who was pretty much locked down.
This is why I did everything to get out the house. That's why I was in Girl Guides. That's why I went to these youth clubs. This is why I did all these things. Or I was just at home on MSN online, but because my mum didn't know nothing about the computer, I just had access to the whole wide world by myself. So you need to be on it to kind of stop them. Well, not stop them, but be interested in their lives, because you don't know what they're exposed to.
Yeah. So exactly. So when I was thinking about that, when I was talking about that person who was kind of locked down and wasn't integrating and wasn't out there, so to speak, the problems that could bring is sometimes a level of naivety.
Yeah. And when they do go to uni, they just get abused and pushed to the side and just taken advantage of.
So, you know what I mean? So again, this is another reason why these conversations need to happen, because these, when we talk about vulnerability, I describe vulnerability almost being like a beacon, from a
say, hey, target.
And from a long target, and you can literally see someone's vulnerability a mile off.
Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, you was abused. You have daddy issues. You have this issue. You went through that. You were ex-con. Like, you can see just by how they carry themselves, how they talk, and perpetrators, they prey on the different vulnerabilities these people have.
Yes, absolutely. So this is one of the things where I'm not in wholehearted agreement about, no, they're not having this and the lock off. I don't agree with it, because they need to build their resilience and relationships, and by having these discussions, what they need to say. And I think about the work I was doing with young people, we call it secure base. Okay. So they will go out into the world see things, experience things, but because we have a good relationship and attachment, and you know, there's no fear of being judged or put down and everything else, they will come back to us and
They'll
talk.
come back to base.
Yeah,
Okay, so you
and
got that secure
so they will
base.
come back and talk the things
Yeah.
about anything that's bothering them.
Mm,
That's
mm,
ultimately what we want to achieve, because
yeah.
what they say about in terms of where young people are at in terms of for when they start hitting at around that age, adolescence age, right? They start talking. Erickson talks about life stage theory, and young people are identity seeking. So they're
Mm,
seeking that identity in many different ways.
yeah.
Uh, Sexually,
And the
sexual,
majority of the ways is social media. They're creating their identity via social media,
social
their platforms.
exactly. And
Mm.
admittedly, many professionals do this on social media themselves. They create a
Mm.
professional identity.
Yeah, yeah, I do it myself. I have how many accounts with different identities?
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
You know what I mean? So we need to consider these sort of things in our discussions. And when the identity seeking, this is the ideal
Mm.
time for us during lockdown to be having these conversations.
Oh yeah, like definitely with social media and self-esteem and stuff, if we want to touch on that as well, because if we I keep using my nephew as an example, but it's like when he's making posts on Instagram and getting likes and everybody get gas for the likes. I'm like, don't get gas. That is the person who liked the picture. Don't get gas. Just be happy that you shared a content that you want others to see. Don't
Yeah.
get gas for the amount of likes and stuff that you can get. Don't see it as value that that picture is better than the other picture. Just see it as that you're sharing it. So you need to ongoing have these conversations so they don't seek values in certain things that they shouldn't have, shouldn't do.
Exactly. And somebody's made mention about protective behaviors, which is awesome, because when we look at protective behaviors, it sometimes it's just the way people respond to certain situations and how
Mm, mm.
themselves.
Trauma response, isn't it? In a
Yeah,
way.
do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah. And someone was also mentioning about algorithms.
Oh
Um,
yeah, in the Instagram's things. So if you start looking at certain things, it'll keep popping up. Is that what you mean?
that's right. That's right.
Mm.
So it's the same as when we go onto a website and we hit the cookies,
Yeah,
accept, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
then you
That's a good
start.
one. I need to start mentioning because I keep saying to because his thing at the moment is watching fighting videos, and I'm like, you need to start watching fighting videos, violence. You're gonna just keep putting violence in your face. So now he keeps clicking on those videos. That's all that's gonna keep coming up on the
Oh,
timeline. And I'm saying if your goal and your aspirations is to be a basketballer in life, you need to start clicking on the basketball video so them can't start being on the top of your timeline and kind of thing.
and and that's another good indicator if you wanted to check your child's phone, looking at what algorithms and what sort of
What things are popping up.
popping up on the feeds
Yeah,
and lives, you can see what they're looking at, because you might have
yeah,
looked at that bike or that dress or that whatever, and it's gonna pop
yeah.
up on your feed.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's what we've accepted when we've done that. So yeah, you know what? I think we're gonna look at a couple of questions if that's all right.
Yeah.
If anybody's got any questions, just please pop them up. Where are we?
Oh,
Right.
my contacts are drying out. So, oh, I did have my glasses on, but then the lighting was just bling bling on my glasses, so I
Okay.
had to put the contacts in.
Right. A message from Caprice. What advice would you like to give a young person who wants to talk about sex or and sexual health to a parent, but feeling the cultural barrier won't allow it?
Mm. Like they don't feel comfortable. Just another trusted adult. If you can talk to another trusted adult and get them to talk to the parent, I think that's a good way. Don't just not talk because you feel like you can't talk to that parent. Still talk to someone else, a trusted adult or a friend that can possibly get that information to the parent. And it's a thing that you don't always, even though you might want your parents to know this information, sometimes you can get through life not talking to your parent as long as you have got a trusted adult or someone that you can trust to talk to. I think that's the main thing. As
Yeah.
long as they got someone that they can talk to, that's the main thing about it. But skills of how to talk to your parent. See, up to this day, I haven't talked to my, like, I'm just going to be a hypocrite because up to this day, my mom should believe that I'm a virgin, to be fair, because I ain't told her nothing different. I remember when I was 14 and she came in my room one time and she tried to have a conversation with me and I was just like, la, 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 I don't want to hear it kind of thing. So I was more embarrassed and shame and didn't want my mom to know anything and not have that conversation. But then for people that want to, I don't feel like your parent will shy away because your parent wants to know everything about you but probably don't know how to approach and have that conversation. So if you do go to your parent with information, I don't feel like they wouldn't want to listen to you. It's just how they might react with that information. And
Yeah.
especially being within a BME culture and certain cultures that you can be scared for your life if you was to go to your parents with this information. So it's don't know. It's a tricky one. There's no right or wrong answer, but as long as you got a trusted adult that you can talk to, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So somebody else is just asking, and I'm gonna repeat it again because somebody else is asking about the quiz.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So how can they get?
So if you DM me, message me your email on this Record Youth Instagram page, I'll just send you across the quiz just like that. So I'll send you the quiz with the answers so you can go through it with yourself, your friends, do it on a quarantine Zoom call with your family if you want. Like, share the information, educate the community. We need to be more competent, more confident within sexual health.
Yeah, because if I think about it, I remember there was just a one auntie. Nobody else really talked to me, and she says, "Hey, Darren, make sure you cover yourself up because there's so many dirty girls out there." Blah blah. Blah. That was my sex talk.
And look at the victim blaming in that kind
Yes,
of answer. Dirty girls. What?
yes,
There's only dirty girls that carry things and
yes.
transfer things around.
Uh-huh,
And you
uh-huh.
can just tell that they're dirty by just the way they're looking at them and that they're
And and
carrying things as
and,
well.
and I'm wondering if that's the same experience that many people have had in terms of having these conversations. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So we need to counter narrative because
Yeah,
again,
exactly. We need to break those stereotypes, those myths, all those negative things that doesn't cause any positivity to our culture.
yeah, yeah. I've just been asked, and we've just been asked another question. Any other good educational activities?
Yes, if you go onto Brook website, they have loads of resources and quizzes, and also on their YouTube page, they have like little videos of like what different contraceptions are. They also have a video of a virtual of going to the clinic, so you can see what it will be like to go to the clinic yourself.
Yeah,
Umbrella website for Birmingham, again, they've got loads of information on there. On there, you can order a home self testing STI kit. The Children's Society, Bernardo's. How else can I say? The Mix website is another teenage kind of website that has loads of information around mental health, relationships, sexual health. For actual resources, if there's anything in particular that you want that I might have in my bank that I'm ready for when I'm doing my startup, I might be able to sort out for you. But yeah, I think that's about it for any educational activities. But if there's anything in specific that you want an activity for, I can think of and be able to give to you. So again, just go to my DMs and give me an email and a shout.
okay, so there's one more thing in terms of like youth culture and relationships I wanted to bring up actually, and that was kind of like around the way young people are categorizing.
Mm.
What is this that we have?
But break that again. Categorizing
So they
in.
how they're categorizing the relationship that they have. So boy, I've heard and you know what? You know what's kind of helped me inform because I love to watch them idiot show like Love Island and them show there because
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah.
like to understand. I like to understand how people think, yeah. And in terms of the way young people's views are formed, they're preying that, they're watching that, and they're taking it in. So, like what somebody described, yeah, this is not a relationship, yeah, but this is more of we're in a situationship. What's a situationship?
Well, I can speak on my era. In my growing up, we had links, so we didn't
Yes,
have we didn't have boyfriend or girlfriends no more. We just have basher dashes. There's people that used to just be tings, people
Yeah,
that we didn't really have a proper relationship with. It was literally, you used to call them around, well, the Netflix and chill back then. You
yeah,
used to just call around, do your thing and go off. But that when I used to think about that culture and how we just normalized it and how that could the way we normalized that culture helped the perpetrators that were actually grooming girls, that was girls were getting gassed because they had an older link coming to pick them up from school in the car and stuff like that. So because we had this negative culture that we normalized and participated in, helped the perpetrators and negative people to be able to maneuver, and people find it acceptable because they had a link kind of thing. So it was acceptable within their peers and kind of thing. When you think about it, really, like, what's that adult man coming to pick up, you know, a girl from school kind of thing.
yeah.
So yeah, in my era, it was like there wasn't really boyfriend and girlfriends. It was like kind of, you know, the linkage thing in college and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, like you say, it's the whole Netflix and chill, the whole swiping generation, like not really forming much relation type bonds. But I don't know, some of them are, like my little brother, he's been in a relationship for a while. So like there's some people are still having relationships, but then in the media what I see is that young people are not. It's just really fast paced linkage. And then like I say, it's in the music, how they should treat a girl kind of thing, isn't it? Slap it, bash it and dash it. Like, okay. It's just in the
Which,
music, isn't
which,
it?
which, which gets me to think about some of the damage that can be caused around this. So, you know what? Many people, as they get older, they start going on more of a spiritual journey and looking inside and stuff like that. So when I started to do that, one of the things I learned about was soul ties. Now,
What's up, guys?
soul ties is mad. So what they're saying with soul ties, yeah, right? We connect with different people on many different levels. All right. So sex should be the last way. The last way. So we're
Yeah.
supposed to mentally, emotionally connection. Yeah.
Intellectually.
Intellectually. You understand me? And
All
when
financially.
right, so when we're talking about, when we're looking at those sort of things, right? Sex is supposed to be the final, you know what?
Feel
I
that
feel
like
safe.
in just in religion, it's like after marriage, like that's kind of how it's meant to be, isn't it?
Yeah. So what they say about soul ties is that the more people you sleep with, you kind of leave an imprint of that person in you. Yeah.
Okay.
And it kind of leaves damage. And ultimately, when we talk about the imprint, it's about energies. It's about energy. So if you're, you know, when we talk about toxic masculinity, how much damage does toxic sleeping with somebody who you know, who's displaying toxic masculinity, what sort of impact does that have on
Gonna
us?
bring onto your energy.
So when we talk about issues around domestic abuse, yeah, um, and you've been so tired with that kind of energy, what sort of impact does that have? So when we're looking at, boy, I don't understand why my girl don't just leave him. Yeah, she's an idiot, rare, as we like to victim blame and everything else. There's deeper things that
Yeah,
we.
yeah. There's so much deeper things to what the reasons why they're not leaving, the trauma bonds, everything that else that's going on with it. It's just like what I learned from being in a traumatic situation. If someone's getting having dirty water all the time and that's all they drink, that's all they're used to. If you try to give them a Volvic, a nice clean water, they're gonna spit it out. They're like, ugh, what's this? I don't know the taste of this. I've been drinking dirty water. This is the water I'm used to. This is what helps me get through the day, kind of thing. So you need to start dripping them little messages and keep trying to give them that clean water. You can't just give up on people. And the reason why they don't leave and go straight away is because they either don't know how to, or it's just unnormal to them to come out of this situation. So there's a lot more deeper reasons why people can't leave traumatic situations.
Yeah. So for me, I think again one of the lessons I teach my children is around energy. Make sure the energy is right. Yeah, because before you connect on that level, when you're connecting sexually, you're connecting spiritually. right? And you need to make sure that that energy is 30. You need to
Yeah,
make sure
and
that
that's
energy.
and that's a cultural thing as well, because even our parents, our grandparents will say, "I can't take that person's energy. The
Yeah,
energy don't take to me." Kind of
me.
the
Yeah,
spirit don't take to me. So you have to keep those cultural messages, if they're positive ones, moving forward. Keep saying if the energy is not right, don't go in that area.
and this is where I say to young people, we need to learn about trusting and moving with our instinct, because all right, our instinct, we animals have instinct, yeah, and they follow it. That's what keeps them safe.
That gut instinct,
Yeah,
trust that gut instinct. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's there
So
for a reason. It's our second brain.
so why are we not always using that instinct that's there to
Mm.
protect us and keep
Yeah,
us safe?
but there's an actual, like, I'm sure scientists has actually proved it. There's an actual second brain there. There's a reason why we get that feeling, is to protect us, to keep us safe in situations. So if you got that gut instinct in a situation that you shouldn't be here, you shouldn't do this, there's a reason why you're experiencing and feeling this. Think about it, act on it, try and remove yourself from the situation. Say no, like, use that information
Yeah.
for something.
And listen, you know what? The pressure for kids to have like sex in schools is mad.
Yeah,
It's
of course.
mad. Yeah,
Yeah.
they be
Peer
calling it.
pressure is on a whole next level.
Hate that. So you know what? Let them own that. Yeah, I'm frigid and what
Yes,
and
yes.
what.
Own it. Own
Set
it.
up.
Own the
Own
labels.
it.
If someone's calling you, own it. So it's the
I
same way with racism. Someone's gonna call you black, like, okay, yeah, I'm black, and what? Like, own it. If you have virgin, okay, you're a virgin, and what? Own it. Like,
own
you
it.
need to they need to take more pride in owning their virginity. To be fair, they need
And
to
and
take
and
more pride in that.
and I think for me, this is where it's deep rooted in terms of values again. All right, if we deep root our kids in terms of our values and our understanding, we have those
Mm.
conversations in terms of the influences that's going on out there. If we're
Yeah.
deep rooted, yeah, we're
Mm.
out there. No little winky and blowy on.
Exactly. If you
Not like
instill the norms and values, when they go out there, it's pew, pew, like no
exactly.
one's touching them. It's
Nah,
flying off them,
it's cool.
because they got that secure attachment back at base that's going to accept and love them for what they're saying and doing anyway. So they don't need that when they go out into society, and they'll find people that will hopefully getting the same messages as them out there as well.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Wow, Nick. Listen, I think it's time to kind of wrap it up.
I know it's past my nephew's bedtime still.
Love.
So
Yes. Okay. So, listen, this video should be going out on all platforms. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in and watching in. As we says, we should be back next week, all being well.
Catch up on all the other ones that have been out as well.
Yeah. And Anika, thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank
For
you for having me on this platform, because I was a bit shook at first. This is my first live and you break my virginity. Look, so I'm here and I'm going to be doing a lot more lives. Like, this is really motivating me to, speak and be out there a lot more. So thank you.
Yeah. Or listen, bless you. Thank you very much. Yeah. And guys, look out for what's coming out next.
Oh, and thank you guys for staying, because, like, you didn't have to stay here and watch us. Like, thank you for staying and having your questions and participating. Thank you guys. Big up yourself.
Yeah. So follow Recoil Youth. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. On all the platforms. And look out for what we're doing. So yes, people, take care. All right. And I will see you next week.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. See you later.